let's talk about the next item on our agenda, which is the IPO markets drying up. This isn't really a breaking story, but it's something that we've been looking at. So particularly the tech IPO market, it kind of collapsed in 2022. So in 2021, there were 397 IPOs, I believe in the US. Okay, I think there were more individually. I know you posted a larger number, but I think this is just US, this statistic. 397 IPOs in the US. 2022, there were only 71 total IPOs, and there was just one IPO that was around $1 billion, and no other tech IPO actually broke even 100 million, which is pretty crazy. And there was an interview with the president of the New York Stock Exchange on CNBC saying she's optimistic for 2023, but companies have taken a pause to let the volatility subside. Okay, so I don't know, maybe she means the second half of 2023. I don't know. Personally, I don't think it looks that optimistic for 2023 either. What say you?
I say that, we saw this tremendous tech boom starting probably 2018. I think that's when Facebook launched their IPO. And then, subsequently you have all these massive companies doing IPOs for their tech companies. And right now I can see the future being is AI generated technology that brings technology and living together. For example, the lawnmower company Grays that we interviewed the CEO last week. That company I could see is like a future IPO where it's a company that involves technology, but a real world application. It's just not all internet based. So to me, that's maybe some of the companies that are going to IPO, as well as you have hedge funds that go on the Nasdaq. Those are kind of all the natural occurring IPOs and things like that. Yeah, there he is. Gray's mowing interview with John Vlay, good guy. But so that's kind of interesting to really think about. Is the boom happened in the last 5 years for IPOs. We saw more than the world's ever seen, and then there was a huge lull during the recession, like 2009. That was the least amount of IPOs I think in history. So.
Okay.
That's interesting to really look at it. IPOs kind of follow the trend for financial markets.
Also, we have seen, a correction in the tech sector last year in, just publicly listed companies. So IPO, it makes sense that, if you can't list for as much money, why IPO now? Why not wait?
Well, and we saw a lot of Chinese companies come in and do IPOs in the last 3 or 4 years. And now the Communist Party is telling those companies that they're not going to have IPOs here because they don't want to give money to the American markets. So they're getting very restrictive from the CCP on allowing those companies to IPO. My personal opinion is if you're communist board members in your company, an open board member of the CCP, you shouldn't be allowed to IPO in the United States.
Well, pretty much every major company in China has to have a Communist Party secretary on their board. So
Exactly.
they're not really, well, they are private companies, but they're kind of hybrids because they still have to toe the Communist Party line because they've literally got a Communist Party secretary attached to them. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, and that's where we draw the line in the sand is you abuse human rights, you abuse people. Well, we don't need your money. We'll find some other money. It's what makes sense to me. We're here for about 100 years. It's not about what you make. It's about who you impact. At least that's how I see it. So for the IPOs, we'll see how the rest of the year goes. There's still a lot of volatility. I mean, the banks are still shaking up. You saw the regional banks over the last week dip again. Towards there's no trading for Good Friday, but I think the banks are going to continue to see the woes, like Jamie Dimon said. This is a long-term thing. So, and that's a very real thing that's happening.